Now, Amanda, you have strong opinions on this. You are a CEO and founder of several companies. How important is this from a small business perspective?
Well, two things actually. Firstly, not many people in the small business community have been communicated with about all of this. So it's kind of been kept at the top. And there's a lot of fear as well. So from the small business perspective, a lot of them rely on Google completely to build their business, to sell, for content, for everything. So all they hear is Google's going to pull out. What do we do? And so there's absolute panic. I personally think it's a good thing that something like this has happened, because it's helping or forcing the small business owner to think, how else can I bring in clients? How else can I sell? And also, I feel that Google does have a monopoly in the market. Well, let's face it, that's why this code is coming out, and that we should be encouraging people to use other search engines so it's fair.
Amanda, we're going to pull up a list of search engines. Some of them, no doubt, many people haven't even seen before, but obviously Google being on top of the list there. We've got, the first 10 there, and we'll have a look at all of them shortly. But Amanda, what incentives do you think that people need for people to use other search engines? There it is, number one, Google.
Well, we need a good PR campaign for starters. So we need to educate people and communicate through, print and TV and radio and through other social channels to say, use a different search engine. So we need to get the consumer to get into a habit of looking or choosing another search engine, but we also need small businesses to be incentivized to promote and to pay those search engines. So the government could say, or someone could say, the actual provider will give you, a $10,000 voucher to do ads on our search engine instead, or to use us instead. And it wouldn't be too hard if other search engines stepped up and said, actually, like Microsoft, they've said, we'll agree to this code, and we'll pay for the content of these news providers and journalists. And I think that's commendable, and it shouldn't be overlooked, and we should be looking into that.
Well, a lot of people in Australia don't quite realise the monopoly that Google has, because go around the world and it's not that way. Other countries, particularly, we use the United States as an example, many of the others like Yahoo are used, it's not just a Google monopoly, but it's become part of our vernacular, hasn't it? Oh, just Google it. It's almost, it's part of the language.
Exactly. And look, this shouldn't be happening. There should have been regulation a long time ago. And I find it quite interesting that Google's threatening to leave, and they're uncomfortable in paying for other people's content, yet they're very comfortable to take small business owners' money to help promote what they do. So there's a bit of a double standard going on there. And we need to have the regulation. I think is very powerful. And I know that Google's come out and they've got their own showcase component, and they've done individual deals with certain independent providers. I think they've got 7 domestic providers signed up already, which is fantastic. But what's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen to small business owners if we're purely relying on Google and it disappears overnight? I always say to every single small business community when I talk is make sure you've got multiple avenues, multiple streams to be able to build your business, because this is a classic example of someone that has monopoly of the market. We've become complacent, we've relied on it too much, and now the threat, well, hopefully no more threat. But even when a deal is made, we should be considering what happens if it goes, or if Facebook goes, or Instagram. So we need to be prepared for that.
So multiple platforms. What about print? Do we need to see more print, Amanda?
I would love print to come back. I know people love their online, and I do too, but I think because print has been stripped bare in so many ways, people are now craving it and wanting it. So, niche, I believe in micro communities and niche publications. So whether it's geographical or it could be for an industry. And I think there's a really good opportunity here to focus on your key community and build your own publication and your own way to communicate with them, because that's what people want. There's just so much information out there now. If you're sending something direct to their house and it's exactly what they want to see, and it's from their community and people they trust, they'll read it.
You must have been so proud of the small business community over the course of the past 12 months? Because there's been, I know we use pivot, nimble, boom, 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 all these words, all these very popular words, but it has been extraordinary to see the way that creative and industrious Australians have moved.
It has actually, and what's really interesting, I've been astounded by, especially the female community, small business women in general, of they've tapped into other streams and they've looked at other ways to bring in an income. So I think after last year and the survival, I mean, there are hospitality industries out there that also did a fantastic pivot and succeeded and did really well. So I think that we can do it. So any threat that comes our way, you know, the Australian ways, we like to call a bit of bluff. And I think that with COVID last year, we proved to the wider community and the global community that we can change and we can adapt. So with Google, this is just another situation where we need to start thinking strategically. We need to start thinking as part of our strategy for our business that this is now a risk. Small businesses don't often talk about their risk. They do a SWOT analysis, but don't think, hang on a minute, what is the risk of losing an entire, you know, a stream of communicating with our potential clients and customers? So I think this is a good thing. This whole thing can potentially be a very good thing.
Yeah, and just finally, as a CEO and a founder, how have you found leadership through COVID? What have people learned in terms of leadership?
Ooh. Well, what they have learnt is you can't be aggressive and you can't be bullying people. It just doesn't fly. You need to be empathetic. People want vision. People like they're interested in new ideas and trying and testing them. So what people are demanding now, I find, they're looking for people and partner with organisations that have the heart, but also the vision, and they're stoic, you know, and they've got good character. So they're not necessarily worried about making a ridiculous amount of profits. They're looking for longevity, you know, and they're looking for contentment as well.
Well, hopefully the bullies will be complete dinosaurs soon and absolutely extinct. Good to talk to you, Amanda Rose, founder and CEO of Small Business Women Australia.
Thank you for having me.